why is it that a good parent, a parent who isn't doing anything wrong, who's treating their children well, might find themselves interacting with child protective services? Because I think everyone knows, if there's a bad situation, if there's abuse going on, we all sort of agree that something should be done. But what are the reasons that that system might go wrong and someone who's doing good might find themselves dealing with it?
So I think there are a variety of ways that that can happen. First of all, there is certainly an issue where parents are impoverished and don't have the same ability to care for their kids that someone who has more resources does. Unfortunately, those parents are often accused of neglect. And rather than helping, the system perceives some sort of negligence there, even though parents are working as hard as they possibly can. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is when children have accidents and the parents aren't really able to explain exactly what happens, which frankly does happen with kids having accidents. You don't necessarily have your eyes on them all the time, and particularly if parents, if your child is injured in a park and there falls off a swing and there are 5 or 6 people around and they all see what happens, and you saw the kid fall off the swing and nobody pushed him or her off the swing, that's one sort of an accident. Another accident is something where there's actually a case that happened in Texas where a child essentially was put on a chair while the mom ran into the house and then ran back out, and the toddler fell off the chair. So she wasn't really able to explain exactly what happens. And that then starts an entire child protection exploration, let's put it that way. And sometimes, as I mentioned in my book, parents inadvertently say things that lead to even bigger investigations. In my experience, once an investigation is opened, the goal of the investigation is not really to clear the parents, it's to figure out how to find something that needs to be addressed. And another way it happens is, which is my particular area of expertise, is when you have medically complex kids who, and by a medically complex kid, and I use kid all the time, so I don't want anyone to think I'm being disrespectful. That's just, I call
Sure.
my kids. You have a kiddo who has maybe a breathing tube or a feeding tube or an autoimmune disorder or some sort of a complex disorder that would not be treated in your typical pediatrician's office, that your pediatrician would probably refer the child out for more expertise. And more often, I'm seeing those parents of those children being accused of either completely making up the symptoms that the child has, or the latest variation is exaggerating the symptoms. Yes, the child really is sick, but not as sick as the parent is claiming. And in those situations, the parents get looped into this child protection system. The accusations are being made by doctors who don't agree with the treatment, and in the case of accidents, by doctors. That's where the initial report starts. And then the quote unquote investigation is handled by caseworkers who have no medical expertise, and really, I think, too many times are more interested in supporting the doctors or finding a reason to look more carefully at the situation than they should be.